Hey, this is Matt from InvestiQuant. Today is Monday, June 28, 2021. Friday finished the week strong last week. We finished up at all-time highs, and we closed up above the upper Bollinger Band, which can be a sign of strength. It can be a sign of being overbought as well. So we're going to be looking at that pattern this morning. What has happened historically when you close above the upper Bollinger Band, followed by an open that is fairly flat. We're seeing the market trade sideways in this overnight session here ahead of the Monday open. So let me go ahead and set this up here in Discover. We'll look at all four instruments. The setup's going to be based upon entering the market long at the open of regular trading hours, which is 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The exit will be set to the close of regular trading hours, which is 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, currently, we are trading pretty flat in the overnight session. We haven't moved too far in either direction away from Friday's closing price. So to describe that type of action, I'm going to say that the gap size as a percentage of the 5-day ATR is no more than 25% of the 5-day ATR. So for you S&P traders, what that means is in today's context, the open would have to be within about 8.5 points of the prior closing price, and it could be in either direction. But bottom line, it's saying the market's not moving, or it's not opening significantly away from where it closed at on Friday. Now, since it is a flat opening location right now at the time of this recording, I don't know if we're going to be gapping up or down. This can make a little bit of a difference. It's more noticeable really in the NASDAQ. In this study that I'm about to show you, the up gaps are a little bit weaker than the down gaps have been historically, but I'm going to include both of them. They are both somewhat similar in their characteristics, so I'm going to leave them both in there. Plus, I have no idea which way we're going to be opening. All right, next, I'm going to go into the indicators section, and I'm going to say that today is the day after a close above the upper Bollinger Band. So that's kind of an overbought reading here. So I'm going to hit equals day after close above upper Bollinger Band. And then I'm also going to say that we are above a 10 and 200 day simple moving average. So it's doing that in a strong market already. So I've got all of that selected. Now I can click view results. All right, here we go. These are the results based upon entering the market long at the open, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, exiting at the close, 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time. When you have a flat open, which I have described as a gap that is less than 25% of the 5-day ATR, after a day that closed above the upper Bollinger Band in a bull market environment. So historically, we've got 135 samples of this in the S&P. We've got 173 in the NASDAQ, 148 in the Dow, 158 in the Russell. If we look at the win rates on them, they are coming in mostly favored here. So S&P, 59% of those have closed above the opening print following that pattern. With the NASDAQ, it's up to 64%. Same with the Dow, 64%. And the Russell is the weakest of the group at 55%. So all four of them are at least 55% or better. And if we look at the average win and the average loss, they're pretty similar in size in the S&P and the Dow. The NASDAQ shows larger average losses, and the Russell shows larger average wins. Now, I mentioned here a moment ago that the NASDAQ has been weaker on the up gaps. And if you really dig into this pattern, you'll notice, let me just show you this NASDAQ equity curve. If I highlight it right here, you'll notice there's a huge drop off there here just recently in the NASDAQ. And that big drop off is taking place on the up gap. So I can tell you in more recent trading scenarios here over the past year or so, the up gaps following this pattern have been weaker than the overall average has been historically. So that whole drop off there that's coming from this equity peak down to that low, those are mostly up gaps. So we may have an up gap this morning that'll be within that small gap size of less than 25%. And if that's the case, it's worth knowing that that has been a little bit weaker more recently, and that's something you can dig into here if you want to kind of see what that has looked like. You can go ahead and change that opening filter up and see what that's looked like in the NASDAQ. But hopefully you found that helpful. Good luck today, guys. We'll see you next time.